Welcome back to another Film Geek movie review. In just a moment, I'm going to walk my happy butt over to the futon because I'm checking out the Shudder original, Black Cab. So what's the plot of this movie? Well, it tells the story of a young couple who take a cab one night, and they seem to have a really fun, jovial cab driver. But this cab driver has a dark secret, because he's taking them down some kind of strange, haunted road where we're going to find out his true intentions. This film is directed by Bruce Goodison and it's starring Nick Frost. This is a Shudder original and I am really looking forward to this movie because, to be perfectly honest, this year I feel like Shudder has been knocking it out of the ballpark. I can't think of one film that I haven't enjoyed that they've put out just yet. Movies that have come out in the theaters, movies that have just been on their streaming platform. So far in the year 2024, Shudder has been doing a pretty good job. And you know who agrees with me? My cat Haku. We were just having a conversation about it the other day on how good Shudder films have been lately. So you know what? It's enough of me sitting here yammering on because I need to get over to the futon because, one, Haku is very impatient and I don't want to keep him waiting on me, and two, I need to check out the new Shudder original, Black Cab. Just getting done watching Black Cab, and guys, I was really underwhelmed with this film. This movie is what I like to call a laundry folder. Like, you can do housework, fold some laundry, maybe even do a load of dishes, and just have this movie playing in the background, and you're really not going to miss a whole lot in the plot. So let's get this started, shall we? We're going to get things started with negatives, then move into the positives, then end the video on the ever so important high note. The first thing about this film that really bothered me is the pacing of the movie and just how inconsistent it was. The very beginning of this film, it seems like this movie is going to be very fast-paced. It is not going to waste any time to get to where it needs to get to, and then it doesn't. From that point on, once you get into the cab, it is nothing but a snooze fest. It is almost real time of these guys driving around in the countryside of England. Now, granted, it does add to a very spooky vibe for the film, but at the same time, the movie just drives along in a cab for the longest time. And Nick Frost's character, the cab driver, just tells stories about this ghost and how he lives on the most haunted road in England. And here's the thing, they're not even on that road until, oh good God, I want to say an hour into the film. And now here's the problem with that. This movie's only an hour and a half long, maybe even less. And it took them an hour to actually get to the destination where things are finally going to happen. Because that's it. That's what Nick Frost is doing. He's taking them to this haunted road. I thought maybe when I was looking at the description of this film that maybe that was just a figurative term, like this haunted road, like they were going to be going down it, and it was going to be something like the movie Dead End. I really didn't know what to expect. So I thought maybe it was going to be like kind of maybe like an anthology film, like as he's taking them down this haunted road and they witness all of these horrible things, and then they find out that the driver of the cab is the devil. Oh, mind blown. Whoa, crazy anthology film type of wraparound story. No, he's just like, he's a cab driver taking him down this haunted road, and there's a ghost there. And that brings me to my next thing, the special effects. Oh my goodness, this ghost does not look good at all. Now, they were trying to do some interesting stuff with it, but it just did not work for me. The CGI was pretty spotty, and they did like the whole translucent person in makeup, which could work, but they were doing some kind of effect where it would show two faces of the ghost at the same time. It was just really a bland and uninteresting looking character, to be perfectly honest, and it didn't really scare me whatsoever. There was one point in the film where I really thought, oh, that was kind of a neat effect, and that was it. But most of all, the ghost, the special effect for that, it did not work for me. There were moments where they tried to build suspense and tension in the moments of driving down this road, but perfect honesty, I was just so bored that the suspense and tension just did not land with me in those moments. And all in all, it just was just a boring story, and it didn't go anywhere. When you get to the end of this film too, and you finally see where everything wraps up and we all come to a turn, it doesn't, none of this, mattered. Like, there was no reason for anything to have happened. There is no real good outcome to the end of this film. Things are not wrapped up very well whatsoever. And I'm not talking about it's an ambiguous ending. I mean, it's a frustrating ending. It just leaves you with more questions than answers on what the purpose of everything was. I mean, yes, the purpose of things was exposed, and they do tell you, oh, this is why I'm doing this and blah, blah, blah. But as I mean, a satisfying ending that wraps things up, that lets you know, here is the end of our story. Don't expect that from this movie, because it doesn't end that way. I literally rewound 10 minutes because I'm like, was that literally the end? Well, what happened here? What was the point of all of this? And I had to go back 10 minutes, rewatch it, just to make sure that I didn't miss something, or maybe there was a streaming problem. Because it's not that it does an abrupt ending or anything like that. It just doesn't seem like it ties anything up whatsoever. There is no real satisfaction to it. So now you're probably sitting there going, was there anything positive about this movie? And yeah, actually there was. And that was Nick Frost himself. He actually showed up to this movie, he knew what the excitement was, and he took the test and did a great job. I liked his character. I thought he built a very likable and also very unlikable, unhinged serial killer type of character, and I liked the concept of him being this cab driver taking people around. There was a great concept in just Nick Frost driving people around in a freaking cab, and him being a psychopath. There could have been so many different ways they could have gone, but a completely boring, average ghost story was not on my list of things that I was expecting. I mean, all in all, guys, this film is on Shudder. It's a Shudder original. If you are a subscriber to the service, it's just your time, and if you're just curious to see Nick Frost's performance in this film, I do suggest it. But if you don't, I mean, I understand. It's not that interesting of a movie, and you're really not missing out on a whole hell of a lot by skipping this one. But like I said, if you are a fan of Nick Frost and you want to see a very interesting character that he put together, you might want to check this film out. It's worth maybe one viewing. Alright guys, well that's all I have for you today. Thanks again for checking out the Film Geek. If you liked what you saw here today, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, ring that bell for notifications, and give me the old thumbs up if you like what you're seeing. And if there's one more thing you can do, folks, that is keep watching movies. You know I'm gonna.